The Euros 2024 has begun and already has exceeded my expectations. This tournament so far has been filled with loads of goals and exciting games. I have set myself a challenge for every game that I watch to recreate one of the team's tactics in Football Manager. Here are all the tactics I've recreated into one video. Yes, people, welcome back to the YouTube channel right now. Guys, the Euros has been exciting. I've already told you lot, but listen, it's been a pure vibe. Let me know in the comments right now what your favorite match in the Euros has been so far. For me personally, it has to be the Germany game, the opening game. Germany were on absolute smoke, man. I definitely enjoyed that game, especially the fact that it actually was my birthday on that day. So I got to see an absolute spanking 5-1 from Germany and enjoy my birthday with a lot of my friends coming over to watch the game with me and stuff like that. But anyways, guys, do make sure right now that you are leaving a like, make sure you're subscribing and comment. Let me know the team that you enjoyed the most so far in this Euros. Also, guys, do make sure you are going over to the Twitch and following that, as well as all my social media platforms that are linked in the description right now. But let's stop wasting time and let's get into the breakdown of all the tactics I have recreated so far. And for the first tactic, we have to start off in chronological order. It's got to be Germany's Euro tactic. Like I said, people, they absolutely hammered Scotland. Although Scotland did get a red card, personally, that didn't matter. I still feel like it would have been 3-4-0. So yeah, man, they've done very, very well. Anyways, but here we are with the tactic, and I've been using a very similar tactic in my save over on Twitch. So that's a cheeky plug. Come over to the Twitch so if you want to see those results. The results have been insane with something very similar to this. Obviously, I think my two DMs are different, but everything else is almost identical, man. We've been cooking, people. Trust me. Head over to the Twitch. Link is in the description right now. But anyways, this tactic right here is basically trying to get the best out of Musiala and Florian Wirtz. We've been seeing them doing very, very well in the past two games so far. But anyways, this is the tactic. I'm going to give you a breakdown of it so you can understand what is being done and how it's being done. So we've got a sweeper keeper on defender. We are told him to tackle harder. Then we have a wing back on support, and we have told him, yeah, a lot of instructions over here, but take more risks, cross more often, dribble more with the ball, run wide with the ball, and shoot less often and tackle harder. So essentially, both of these wing backs are there to hold the width, especially because we've got three attacking mids that are all very narrow, but these guys will get further forward like we have told them to do, dribble more, run wide with the ball, cross more often, and take more risks, getting into advanced positions and helping keep the width. Then we've got two ball playing defenders. We have told them to dribble more and to tackle harder. Obviously, they will be the base of our defense. Then we've got Toni Kroos. So with the Toni Kroos role, I did actually want, because he does act like a halfback. However, because he does dictate and play the passes into the wider areas and everything goes through him essentially into the wide spaces and whatnot, I did actually want him to be maybe a halfback, but the halfback doesn't do what I need it to do. So I feel like Football Manager do need to create a new role for this guy, maybe a halfback on support or something along those lines, but essentially allowing him to drop in to the back two to make a back three at times, but also still dictate the game and play those passes. So we've gone with a DLP on defend, but like I'm saying, guys, it could be a halfback if you want it to be, but I don't think it would really work in Football Manager's engine, so I've gone with a DLP on defend. Next up, we've got a DM on support and Rich. Obviously, we told him to take more risks and to tackle harder. And then when we get into the number 10 position, we have an advanced playmaker on support, and we have told him to tackle harder. And then we'll go to the forward first before we go to the two advanced attacking mid, sorry. And we have an advanced forward up front for Havertz, and we've told him to take more risks and to tackle harder. Now for these two number 10s, essentially, guys, these two number 10s, it is their team. We want them to be involved in all of the final actions. We want them to be involved in goals, assists, shooting, creating, whatever it is. We want these two guys to be the main. We've given them the keys to it, and that's essentially what Nagelsmann has done with Germany in the Euro so far. So we got Musiala as an attacking mid on attack, and the same thing with Florian Wirtz. And we have told them both to take more risks, to make sure they hold up the ball, which would allow these wing backs to actually get further up whilst they're holding up the ball. We have told them to also move into channels, and we have told them to tackle harder. We could have also added roam from position. I think that would work with Musiala, but I'm going to leave it how it is so far. Anyways, in terms of this, it's very beautiful, guys. we get very high up the pitch and it does compress the pitch a lot. So what we've done with the out of possession, we have put that in there as well. But anyways, let's get into the in possession quickly. We've gone with a positive mentality and then focus play down the left and right. So we are telling our wing backs to get further up to help us in the build up, and we've both told them to overlap on both sides as well as pass into space. Passing directness is shorter, the tempo is higher, and we are running at the defense whilst also doing low crosses in the final third. In transition, we have gone with a counter press counter, distribute the ball quickly and it's roll it out. So essentially it goes to the full backs, the center backs, or to the playmaker, who is Toni Kroos, as you can see, as a DLP on defense. And then out of possession, we have gone with a high press, a much higher defensive line. So a lot of us probably are scared of playing a much higher defensive line. I know I was at one point, but what this actually does is compress the pitch a lot more. I was thinking that we'll be susceptible to actually getting counter-attacked, but it's been very, very good in this Football Manager engine. I do actually think this might be the meta for Football Manager 24, because honestly, once we're in that opposition's half, it's over, really. Truly, like, they just can't get out. It's constant, relentless pressure. As you can see, the intensity is very high, but I don't think it matters too much. But listen, guys, much higher defensive line, you should try it out of your tactics because it does work very, very well. We've gone with a trigger press much more often and prevent short goalkeeper distribution. Obviously, we did see Germany pressing a lot. We've also told them to get stuck in and to step up more in the defensive line. But like I said, people, this tactic does work very, very well. I can vouch for this one. If you want to see it in action and you actually want to see the results, come over to my Twitch, where I'll be streaming Football Manager on Monday to Friday. The vibes are elite, you should already know. So head over there right now, go follow the Twitch. If you don't have an account, create an account and let me know that you created an account, and I'll give you a big, big shout out. But let's move on into the second tactic we have created. And here we are with the second tactic. We are with Spain. Spain played a very impressive game. I was actually impressed with Spain. I did not expect them to play how they played, but they played very, very well. Especially at points I saw they were pressing very, very high, compressing the pitch once again, like we saw with Germany, but Spain actually done the same thing, making the pitch very, very small and making it very difficult for Croatia to play. But anyways, here is the tactic. Let's get into the breakdown of the tactic straight away. First up in goal, we have Unai Simon with a sweeper keeper on defend with no further instructions. We have a wing back on support, who is Cucurella, and we have told him to cut inside with the ball and also to stay wider. Then we have a wing back on support, and we have told him to sit narrower, so that is Dani Carvajal. And then we have two ball playing defenders with the instructions, pass it shorter, and that is it. We then get into the number 6 role, Rodri, and we have actually told him to be a deep line playmaker on defend. I was thinking about putting him as a regista, but I felt like the deep line playmaker allowed him to actually sit in front of the defense. That's what we saw him kind of doing, whereas the regista would get forward a lot. But yes, it's, like I'm saying, it's very difficult to get the exact role in Football Manager because you see different things that they do at different times. So it's more based on the actual player and what the player's traits are. But yeah, I'm going to go over deep line playmaker on defend. Let me know what you guys think in the comments if you think it's a regista or deep line playmaker. And then next up, we've got two centre mids on automatic. So I don't usually use automatic. I usually go with attacking or support or whatever. But I decided to go with automatic because I saw at times Pedri would bomb forward, but then Fabian would sit back. So it just depended on the scenario, whilst Fabian would get forward and Pedri would just kind of stay in the midfield and not really go too high. So I was thinking about using Pedri as an advanced playmaker, but I feel like the centre mid on automatic with more instructions would get the exact role I was looking for, and I kind of dud in the match engine. But we've gone with a centre mid on automatic with the instructions: take more risk, get further forward, roam from position, and tackle harder. And that's the same, or not the exact same. We have actually told Fabian to move into the channels as well. So we've not told him to get further forward. So Pedri will be the more advanced one, whilst Fabian will actually be the one moving into the channels and roaming all over the pitch. That's essentially what we have done. Now on the wings, we have gone with a winger on attack for Nico Williams, and that's the exact same thing with Lamine Yamal. Listen, Lamine Yamal, people, 16 years old.
Look at that bum fluff, 16.
This guy had a great game. Honestly, he was cooking, man. Very, very good game. Can't lie. At 16, I was bunking lessons, doing GCSEs and whatnot, whilst this guy's playing in Euros, playing in the Champions. It's a dream, man. But listen, shout out to Lamine Yamal, man. He was on smoke, man. Even Mariah had a good game as well. I've gone with a pressing forward on support for his role. And that is literally it in terms of all the instructions. Now, in possession, we have gone with play out of defense. We've gone with the passing directness much shorter and the tempo slightly lower because Spain were just really just going tiki-taka, pop, pop, pop. But then obviously when they did not have the ball, they were pressing very high, very aggressive, trying to win back the ball as soon as possible. And in terms of the final third, it is low crosses, work the ball into the box, and also run at defense. Especially Lamine Yamal will be running at the defense. In transition, we've gone with a counter press and counter, and then we have no instructions over there. And then our possession, we have gone with a high press and a high defensive line. We opted to go with the high defensive line instead of much higher, because at times we did see Spain behind their halfway line. They weren't really going for it, especially at the point when they started winning the game. So that's exactly what I've gone with. And then we've gone with trap on the outside. So they were forcing the opposition wide. They didn't want the opposition to come into the central areas. They were making Croatia go into the wider spaces. I'm assuming because Croatia have a lot of technicians in their midfield, so they didn't want the technicians on the ball. So they made it compressed in the middle, making them go wider. And then we've gone with a trigger press much more often and prevent short goalkeeper distribution. Like I said, at points in the game, they were very, very high, pressing, trying to win the ball as soon as possible. And we have told them to also invite crosses because Croatia was being forced to cross the ball a lot more from those wider areas. So they're trapping them outside and making them essentially cross. And that is the Spain tactic. We're gonna move on into the third tactic I have made. And here we are for the third tactic. Italy faced Albania and beat them 2-1. Now this game I wasn't really too happy with. I'm not even gonna lie to you lot. Bit of a boring one for Italy. The way Italy play is literally keep ball FC. They just don't want to lose the ball, but they got the win, so whatever works for them works for them. But here is the tactic in Football Manager. Okay, and here it is for the play instructions. First up, we have a sweeper keeper on support, Donnarumma, and that is it. We have an inverted fullback on defend with no further instructions. This will help create a back three with Bastoni as the central defender. We have told him to be a ball playing defender on defend with the instructions to dribble less. Then we have Calafiori as a ball playing defender on stopper. We have told him to dribble more with the ball and stay wider. We have DeMarco as the complete wing back on attack, obviously helping to keep the width in this area right here, as you can see, because it's quite narrow here. And we have also told him to cross more often. We've told him to cross aim into the center, dribble more with the ball, run wide with the ball, and also tackle harder. Now we've gone for a double pivot of Barella and Jorginho. This one was quite hard to get what I wanted to do, but I wanted Barella to be a regista because he was everywhere with the ball, and just honestly, he was just everywhere on the pitch. He was just all over the place, trying to dictate the game, getting on the ball, getting to the edge of the box, creating opportunities for himself, shooting, obviously scored a goal and whatnot. He was just everywhere, man. Jorginho as a roaming playmaker on support, obviously, because Jorginho was around, but he was just keeping the game ticking. He wasn't really the one dictating it, but he was getting the ball, popping it off quickly, keeping the game going, keeping the ball moving. So that's the roles I've gone with. A regista on support here for Barella and Jorginho as a roaming playmaker on support. Now we have Chiesa as a winger on attack. Obviously, he will help keep the width. We basically got a back three here, whilst DeMarco will be the left winger, and essentially, and Chiesa will help keep the width on the right hand side. And we have just told him to tackle harder. He had a very good game as well. He was cooking. And then we have the two number 10s. So I was thinking to put him in centre mid, but I've decided to leave him as a number 10. And we've just told him to tackle harder. And then Pellegrini, our left winger, because he was actually left wing, well, on paper, but he was way more central. So I've told him to just pass it shorter, dribble less, hold up the ball, stay wider, and also tackle harder. And that is literally it in terms of him. And then up front, we have Scamacca as a complete forward on attack with the instructions to tackle harder. Moving on, we got a positive mentality. In possession, we have gone with overlap on the left because we want this guy to literally fly up here and just hold the width for us. And then we've gone with play out of defense. And we've gone with passing directness much shorter, tempo slightly lower. We've told the players to dribble less because we want them to keep the ball ticking. We want them to not really run with the ball, but just to pass it off, and to pass it off. And then in terms of the creative freedom, it is actually be more disciplined. I don't want the boys to be more expressive and start playing these wild passes. Just keep it simple. We're trying to win the game. We're trying to have a lot of possession, so do that. Work the ball into the box, and in terms of the final third, it is low crosses. Anyways, moving into in transition, we've gone with counter press. We have not gone with counter because they weren't countering at all. They just wanted to keep the ball really. Distribute the ball quickly and roll it out so that goes to the playmakers, the fullbacks, and to the centre backs. And then finally, our possession, we have gone with a high press, much higher defensive line. Once again, they were very high, keeping the pitch compact. But like I said, that's why I put the tempo very low, pass directness very shorter, because they weren't doing nothing really with it. They were just trying to keep the ball and in the opposition's half, just dominate the ball, and then that was it. In terms of the trigger press, it was much more often prevent short goalkeeper distribution, obviously get stuck in and step up more to keep the opposition in their half. And that is the Italy tactic. If there's any roles that you think I should have changed, let me know right now. The only one I'll probably say, one of you guys might say something for, is Barella and Jorginho, but let me know what you think in the comments right now. Let's move over into the fourth tactic I have made. And for our next tactic, we have Denmark versus Slovenia, and this one right here was a 1-1 draw. Very, very exciting game though, I'm not gonna lie. But let's get straight into the tactical breakdown. We have a sweeper keeper on defend with no further instructions. Then we have 3 ball playing defenders. We have 1 on defend on the left. We're told him to dribble less and to stay wider. We have Anderson, our right centre half, on stay wider. And then we have a ball playing defender on cover, Christensen, and we have told him to dribble less and hold the position. So this will create the back 3. Then we've got the wide players, which are the wing backs. Christensen, we have told him to run wide with the ball and also to stay wider. And we have Bar with run wide with the ball, stay wide, and also cross aim to the target forward. We've got 2 DMs, and they are both just DMs, and we have told them both to take fewer risks and to tackle harder. So when I was watching the game, the wing backs would bomb forward, and these 2 right here, Højbjerg and Julemand, I probably butchered his name, but that's what we're saying is Julemand. They literally just sat in front of the midfield. So maybe I could have gone with the anchor role, sat in front of the back line. Maybe I could have gone with the anchor role, but I didn't really think they were anchors. I feel like they still got forward at times, but most of the time they were just sitting, covering the back 3. And then we've got Christian Eriksen as an advanced playmaker. We have told him to roam from position and also to move into the channels. He had a good game as well. He was everywhere. And then we got Rasmus Højlund as a pressing forward on attack with no instructions. And then we have Jonas Wind with on a complete forward on support. Now, this guy actually had a very good game. Even his assist for Eriksen, I think he hit a little chest touch and then a little back heel or something like that. But he was cooking that game, man. I can't lie. That's the first time I believe I watched Jonas Wind actually play. I did use him in a save before, but yeah, he's a good player. I like the look of him, if I'm being honest. In terms of the mentality, it was a balanced mentality. I didn't feel like Denmark was really going for the game. I feel like they could have been a bit more aggressive with it, a bit more progressive, but I feel like they were just trying to see what Slovenia were doing and then counteract what they were doing, really and truly. In terms of the attacking width, it is fairly wide. I could have gone with wider, but I didn't think they were stretching that much, but they were wider than normal. Approach play, pass into space, overlap on the left and right, focus play down the left and right, and then pass narrative is standard, tempo is slightly higher, and final third is whipped crosses, and that is it. In transition, we've gone with counter, and we have gone with distribute balls to the centre backs and to the full backs. These men were literally not even counter pressing. They were just sitting off. Literally, it got to a point where they were just in a mid block and they weren't really going for the ball. They weren't really trying to win the ball back aggressively. They just sat in a mid block, and when the opportunity arrived, they would try and pick off the opponent, but that was literally it. So we kept the trigger press at standard, and we kept the defensive line at standard as well. And that is the 3rd tactic for Denmark, and we'll move on into the next tactic. Here we are with the next tactic. We are with England, and this England game was honestly, yeah, bad, man. Because the way people have gassed England, I thought England were going to be on some serious smoke this season, well, this Euros. And then I saw the lineup and I actually thought, wow, Southgate might have changed, guys. And yeah, he just didn't, literally. It got to the point where England went 1-0 up, and then after that, they tried to do Italy's thing where they just keep ball, but yeah, man, England ain't that good on the ball to be trying to do that. Yeah, it was just shambolic. First up, we got a super keeper on support with no instructions. We got Kyle Walker, our inverted fullback, who will be acting as the back 3, and we have told him to tackle harder. John Stones as a ball playing defender on cover, so he drops back a bit and he will hold position. Then we got Mark Gay, who had a very good game as well, and we have told him to stay wider. Kieran Trippier will be holding the width. Me personally, they need to get a left footer holding this width, man, because essentially it's killing Phil Foden, because Trippier, we know he's not going down the outside, so the opposition know that anyway. So it just doesn't really help Foden's game, especially him being more narrow. So me personally, he should have taken Tyrick Mitchell, but based on the squad they have, Luke Shaw's obviously not fit. I think Saka should play left wing back. Yeah, I know a lot of you are going to say, why would you take Saka out of right wing? Because he's the only one that can help in that wing back position. Kieran Trippier holding the width is not going to help because he's right-footed, so you know naturally he's going to cut onto his right foot and not go down the outside. So unless we had a natural left footer there, which Luke Shaw is there but he's injured, I think Saka should go there. And the drop-off from Saka to a Jared Bowen or to a Cole Palmer won't be that crazy, in my opinion, on the right wing. But I feel like they should test it out, but they probably should have tested it out beforehand. So anyways, here England are anyways, man. So we got Kieran Trippier as a complete wing back on support, cross aim to the centre, run wide with the ball and to tackle harder. Declan Rice literally sat and covered that midfield the whole time, so I put him as an anchor man, told him to tackle harder. Trent Alexander-Arnold, honestly, I don't want to see that guy in the midfield. He literally, the maddest thing is that he wasn't even rubbish. It's just that he didn't do anything. For me, he just wasn't involved in the game. I feel like I understood that he put him in the midfield probably for his passing and his ability to spray the ball 30, 40 yards or whatever. But because England don't have an outlet in terms of a fast player to hit on the counter or whatever, or for Trent to pass it into spaces, he couldn't do that anyway, so it was pretty much non-existent. So maybe if you want to put Trent there, you've probably got to go with Anthony Gordon or someone there who can actually run in behind so the pass gets somewhere. But Trent wasn't even able to use his special move, so pretty useless in my opinion. Would have been better to see Adam Wharton or Kobe Mainoo in there, but yeah. We've told him anyways to take more risks and to tackle harder. We've got Saka on a wing on support. He had a decent game as well. We've told him take more risks, cross into the centre, hold position. So we need him to hold that wide space, obviously to stretch the pitch because we need someone down the right whilst Kyle Walker creates that back three. And we have told him to tackle harder as well. We've got Jude Bellingham in the number 10 as an attacking midfielder on attack. We've told him to take more risks, dribble more, roam from position and move into the channels. This guy was literally everywhere on the pitch. Phil Foden, we've told him to take more risks, roam from position and move into channels. Yeah, he was basically non-existent in that game as well. Next up, we got Harry Kane as a complete forward on attack. Another one who was non-existent, but there wasn't really anyone to kind of break the lines and play line-breaking passes. So I kind of get why he wasn't involved. And we've just told him to mark tighter. In terms of the mentality, is a positive mentality. In possession, we have gone with fairly wide. Overlap on the left, but Kieran Trippier probably won't be doing that, but that's what we've told him to do anyway. And we told them to play out from defence, work the ball into the box, passing right into shorter. Tempo was standard. England was not really going for anything. Distribute the ball to the fullbacks, to the centre backs, and counter press and counter. And then once again, we've gone with a high press and a much higher defensive line. Like I said, people, this does help create that compactness in the opposition's half, creating just onto the opposition. We're all over them in their half. They're not able to do much. And we've also told the team to get stuck in and to step up more. Let me know what you guys think of this tactic, what roles you might change, and we'll move on to the next tactic. And for the next tactic, we are with Portugal. Portugal beat Czech Republic 2-1. That game was dead as well, man. Another one where it was like, Portugal just don't really seem that good. And let's get into the breakdown of it. First up, you got Super Keeper on defend with no instructions for Diogo Costa. Then we have a back three. Very weird to see Nuno Mendes as a wide centre half, but he actually did do all right, if I'm being honest. He wasn't too bad. Another one, we told him to pass it short anyway. Then we've got wide centre back on defend, Ruben Diaz. We have told him to pass it shorter. And then we got a central defender on cover and we have told him to hold position. The fact that Pepe, at 40 years old, 41, 39, whatever age he is, bruv. The fact that this guy is playing, I'm not gonna lie, he done well playing Champions League for Porto, but come on, bro. Euros 2024, Pepe is still in the starting 11. Can we please see some of the young boys? Can we see the young G's on the pitch, man? You got Gonzalo Inacio, you got Antonio Silva. Give these guys minutes, bro. Put Ruben Diaz in the center and put Inacio, Antonio Silva, one of them on the right. Something, man. Can we, you know what I mean? Can we move on, please, man? Come on. That's what I'm saying. Anyways, we got an inverted wing back on support who is Cancelo. He was obviously holding the whip and then coming inside with the ball as well. He has no instructions. We got Diogo Dalot as a complete wing back on support. He was there to literally hold the width as well on the right hand side. and fly down the right, helping Bernardo Silva, because we can see he was more central. He wasn't really on the right. He was more in the number 10 spot and just roaming all over there. Anyways, we got Bruno Fernandes as a segundo volante on tackle harder. So I wanted to put him as a box-to-box midfielder, but I can't really get a box-to-box midfielder to drop in. Because a lot of the time we did actually see Bruno Fernandes dropping in and kind of sitting next to Vitinha at times. So I'm going with segundo volante, which does still allow him to get forward and obviously use his goal scoring and passing ability and all of that whilst moving forward with the ball and getting up the pitch. We've got Bernardo Silva as an advanced playmaker on support, and we've just told him to roam from position and to move into channels. He was literally everywhere on the pitch, right wing, midfield, picking up the ball here, wherever. He was all over the gaff. Rafael Leao on the left-hand side, holding the width. Obviously, Dalot holding the width on the right, Leao on the left with a winger on attack. And then we had Cristiano Ronaldo as an advanced forward. Guys, everything I literally just said for Pepe, copy and paste it about Ronaldo. The fact Ronaldo is starting the Euros 2024, yeah, man, it just shows where Portugal are in terms of what they're doing. Because come on, man, Gonçalo Ramos, give these guys a chance. Ronaldo off the bench, Ronaldo in there to be a mentor, to potentially galvanize the team, to be involved in all of that. But starting, nah, man, we ain't trying to see Cristiano Ronaldo in 2024 starting, man. He was annoying me as well. He's doing step overs for no reason. You're not doing a step over to beat the man. You stop the ball in front of someone, done couple step overs, and then just passed it off. But anyways, the mentality is a positive mentality. In possession, we have gone with pass into space, focus play down the left and right, and overlap on the right, obviously for Dalot. Pass directness was slightly shorter, tempo slightly higher. We've told him to be more expressive. We saw Portugal doing a lot of flicks and tricks and stuff like that. So we told them to express themselves when trying to create chances. Final third is low crosses and work the ball into the box. In transition, we have gone with counter press, counter, distribute to the fullbacks and to the centre backs. And finally, out of possession, we have gone with a high press, much higher defensive line. Another team that was all over the opposition. The only thing is that they weren't doing nothing with it really. So it just kind of shows that Portugal didn't really have a system or cohesive system. Like, they just put the players out there and told them, do what you need to do. But in terms of their style of play, their patterns of play, it just wasn't really great, man. I'll be honest with you lot. But they did keep the ball in the opposition's half a lot, but they didn't really do anything with it, man. And that's the same story with England and Italy, personally, still. In terms of the trigger press, it was much more often. They weren't really preventing the goalkeeper from distributing, so I just left it as a high press, but not prevent the short goalkeeper distribution. And we told him to step up more. We literally saw Ruben Diaz. I saw Ruben Diaz at the edge of the box sometimes. Nuno Mendes on the wing. They were everywhere, but just not really doing much with it, man. So those are actually all the tactics I've created. I was only able to watch 6 out of 12 games in the Euros. I did actually watch the France game. That game was quite boring though, so I did kind of sign out from it. I wasn't really focused on it. I was streaming at the exact same time. So make sure you're following the Twitch. Cheeky plug once again. But so those are actually the games I did watch. I know I missed a banger with the Turkey game. Wow, my boy Arda Güler, Arda the father, scored an absolute screamer. I watched those highlights. That was a crazy goal. But anyways, people, those have been the tactics. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know what changes you would make to the tactics. And let me know if you'd like to see me do more. Like I said, I've set myself the challenge. So any game I do watch, I will be recreating the tactics. Make sure you are leaving a like. Make sure you're subscribing. And make sure you're commenting. And I'll see you guys over on the Twitch and the next YouTube video. Love, people.